The statistics undeniably show it's your big numbers, your double and triple bogeys, that are holding you back from being a better golfer. It's not how many birdies you do or don't make. In this video, I'm gonna outline 5 ways you can quickly and drastically reduce your double bogeys per round, thus reducing your scores and your handicap. Lou Stagner, Mr. Statman in the world of golf, shows us that scratch golfers average 2.2 birdies per round, while a 20 handicapper averages just 0.3 birdies per round. With less than 2 strokes difference in birdies per round, yet 20 strokes difference in handicap, this tells us the difference between a high handicapper and a scratch golfer is in fact the big numbers that they make every round, not the birdies. These 5 strategies are statistics based. These 5 strategies are the leading causes of double bogeys. Focusing on these 5 things is what helped me cut my double bogeys in half from 2024 to 2025, and I'm confident if you do these things, you'll reduce your double bogeys as well. By the way, I'm Bryce. I went from a 15 handicap all the way to a scratch without taking a single golf lesson. I created this YouTube channel to share all the tips, tricks, and secrets that I learned along the way to help you speed up your progress in becoming a better golfer. First, we'll start with strategies off the tee, then we'll make our way down the fairway, we'll talk about chipping, and then finally putting strategies to get those annoying double bogeys off of our scorecards. One note is this video won't talk about potential swing changes to reduce our double bogeys. These are statistically proven strategies to help reduce double bogeys every round. It all starts with maybe our most important club in the bag, the driver. It varies on handicap, but according to Lou, about half of our double bogeys occur when a tee shot goes awry. So for our first strategy of the video, how can we help reduce those drives that go into penalty areas or in situations that require a punch out? It's not about hitting every drive perfectly, it's about minimizing the damage when we don't hit a great drive. The best way to do that is to pick the correct club and starting line off the tee. To do this, I love the app called Shot Pattern. Not endorsed to say it, just genuinely love the product. It's helped me strategize my game off the tee, and there's a free version that lets you preview almost every golf course in the country. This gets into the stat of strokes gained, and I have an awesome video about that I'll link below. But the primary goal of every tee shot is to hit your ball as far down the fairway without entering a penalty area and giving yourself a clean second shot into the green. Picking a club that will play to the large part of the hole, notice I didn't say fairway, without giving up a ton of distance, will both help you reduce your double bogeys and maximize your scoring opportunities. For instance, if a hole narrows up at 275 yards with trees on both sides, if you can't drive it past those trees, make sure to pick a club that doesn't go much further than 260 yards to ensure you have a second shot clear of obstruction. Or if there's water on the right side of the fairway, make sure you pick a starting line to where if you miss that starting line right, your ball is still dry. The Shot Pattern app is very helpful with this as it shows what a dispersion looks like at any given distance and starting line. The second strategy of this video, still off the tee, is just as important. None of us are perfect, so in the instance you hit a poor drive and you have to punch out, don't be a hero. When your tee shot does end up in a bad spot, your mind shift should immediately focus. Your goal is no longer par on the hole, it is bogey and doing everything possible you can to avoid a double bogey. The phrase "take your medicine" is a popular one for a reason. So if you're in a punch out situation, the primary goal is to punch out successfully, making sure your next shot has a clear look at the green. The hero shot attempts after a wayward tee shot is what brings double bogey or worse into play. You can see, depending on handicap, between 20 and 30% of all double bogeys stem from a recovery shot. Now, the third strategy brings us to our approach shot. This strategy is very similar to the first one we talked about off the tee, but it requires more knowledge about course design. Most golf holes aren't like 17 at TPC Sawgrass. Most greens are designed with what we call a bailout area. This is a spot where if you miss the green, it's not going to kill your scorecard. The amazing statistic when it comes to double bogeys and approach shot is, depending on your handicap, if you do hit your approach shot into a penalty area, you're going to double bogey that hole between 56 and 91% of the time. So how do we avoid these approach shot penalties? I do 2 things when deciding on what club and what line to take with my approach shot. I almost always choose my starting line between the hole and the bailout area. In other words, I'm not aiming at the flag, I'm aiming on the other side of the flag to where the hazard is. The hazard could be water, woods, a really gnarly bunker, or just an extremely sloped part of the green. Club selection is just as important. I'm always trying to figure out what's worse, if I'm long or short. Quick hint, most golf holes are designed with the green sloping back to front. So most of the time it's going to be worse if you're long versus short. But once I have identified which is going to be worse, being long or short, I then pick a club that will travel a distance halfway between the hole and the safer area of the green. You can see after we pick the safer line and safer club selection, if we do miss-hit the shot, our ball most likely will end up in a safer part of the green and not an area that brings double bogey into the equation like that. We almost never want to pick a club and starting line that requires a perfect shot, because when we do that, double bogey creeps in more often than we'd like. Now, on to chipping. Chipping can drive some golfers, including myself, up a wall. Ironically, no matter the handicap, about a quarter of all double bogeys stem from a double chip. So this advice can help every level of golfer. Our primary goal when chipping is to get the ball on the green. We want to avoid a double chip at all costs. This means picking a club and a landing spot for our chip to maximize these chances. Don't go for the hero flop shot, because once we see that ball land short and roll all the way back to our feet, not only is that the worst feeling in golf, it's also a one-way ticket to a double bogey. Choose a club with less loft, even if that means your putt once you get on the green might be a little longer, and almost always choose to putt if you have the option.
One tip that I got, which really changed how I played around the green, and it was from Arnold. And I'm sitting there hitting these little chip shots, you know, boom. What would happen if you were in the same exact place and you used your putter for the same shot? He said, your worst putt will be just as good as your best chip.
If we're able to eliminate double chips, our scores will improve immediately. Lastly, and possibly most important, let's talk putting. Specifically, three putting. No matter the level of golfer, we all want to see these three putts vanish forever. Between 24 and 41% of all double bogeys stem from three putts. So if we improve our speed and distance control on the greens, our scoring will improve dramatically. We all miss greens in regulation. We're only human, it's gonna happen. But if we make sure our first chip gets on the green and we're able to avoid a three putt, we'll walk off with a bogey and eliminate those double bogeys. Jason Day has a quote that many professionals agree with: distance control in putting is far more important than getting the ball rolling on the right line. PGA Tour make rate for a 20-foot putt is just 15%. What does that tell us as amateur golfers? If PGA Tour players are making just 15% of these, we need to adjust our expectations and make sure we don't blow it 6 feet by or leave it 6 feet short. Instead, for these 20-foot putts, our goal is to get it in that 2 to 3 foot circle that statistically says we're gonna make the second putt. I have a really good video on this I'll link below about speed control. It's how I cut my three putts in half from last year, and it really simplifies a strategy on speed control for 25-foot putts and in. That said, double bogeys happen, and when they do happen, it is so important that mentally we accept it and move on. After a double bogey occurs, our main focus on the next hole is that our tee shot is a good one. At the same time, we can use these 5 strategies to drastically reduce our double bogeys, which is going to help our scores and help us have more fun on the golf course. Comment below with any questions you have, and make sure to subscribe for weekly videos to help you improve your golf game.